All right, good to be back out on the field today, and pretty spirited practice, very competitive practice, full pads, and after a shells practice on Sunday, wanted a lot of physicality and a lot of competition today, and the kids responded, and really pleased with what we saw on the field. We'll see what it looks like in on film. We're getting closer to where we were when we went on pause, and so really excited about the end of the week. We'll have a practice on Thursday. There'll be a lot of special teams and getting ready for Saturday, and then Saturday will be full game situations, all special teams. It'll be pretty good little scrimmage on Saturday. So pretty excited about where we're at right now.
So you're starting to get a little contact. These guys are they getting back into it?
Oh yeah.
How's the progress going on that a little bit?
We'll strike you now. That is not an issue in this program any longer. So a lot of intensity, a lot of energy, and it is you better like contact if you're going to get out there in the middle of that. So really excited about that because that was obviously a weakness in the program when I was hired.
How with the scrimmage on Saturday, the number of plays you're looking at doing, and then also how important is it just to simulate as much as possible a game type of deal?
Right. Well, we'd like to go about 100 plays. Got to just make sure our numbers, depth-wise, will allow us to do that. You cannot substitute for game experience. And of course, you look at the quarterback position. Holton Ahlers has a ton of game experience, and he plays like it. But those other quarterbacks, we have to get them a lot of work on Saturday, and anytime we can put them in that situation. It's like the end of practice today was a live red zone period, and you just when you go from the thud or the tag to a live period, it just changes everything. Everything speeds up, gets a lot hotter. And that's when that the experience in those situations is so valuable. So, I think we have to put ourselves in those situations this Saturday because we're only going to get 2 opportunities now with the way the spring is gone.
With special teams, the return game, we haven't talked a whole lot about. Who are some of the guys? Are you able to do a lot of return stuff in the spring? And who are some of the guys that have kind of handled that?
Well, we got this little guy that wears 22 that's pretty good. I think we have one of the best return guys in the league and one of the best return guys in the country, and I think he's special, and we're fortunate to have him. That kid, he embodies everything that our program, what I want it to stand for, and so I'm excited to have him back there. He's dynamic. Of course, you have some other guys that are pretty good back there also. Keaton Mitchell, Josiah Hatfield, Malik Fleming, all those guys will get looks. Jawan Powell. So we're working on a lot of different guys back there. Chris Foster is working with those guys, and really excited to have Chris and his experience there in that return game.
Going off that with Tyler, every time I watch him practice, everything is 100 miles an hour. There's no slowing down. Some guys, I guess, aren't built like that, but is that just where his success kind of comes from?
He's so driven. He's talented, yes, but he's so driven. He's smart. He's a perfectionist, but he's such a great competitor. That kid, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You can be tag tempo one-on-ones or right there at the end, a live red zone deal. You're getting the same Tyler Snead. And if he beats you, he's going to quietly under his breath tell you about it more than anybody on that field. I said, you talk more junk than anybody out here, and he'll just smile at you. But just what a great competitor and a great example, for anybody in our program, not just young kids, but anybody, just about how you maximize your God-given ability.
Coach, at the end of practice on Saturday, it seemed like there was a group of guys that stayed out there late. That group of guys is driving this team. It seems like that they are providing the momentum, maybe.
Well, I think there's lots of guys. There's guys out there right now, and that's one thing that's also changed is just the work ethic and the dedication. And I think these kids we just talked about at the very end right there. They came here with a dream. They made a commitment to each other. They're heavily invested in this development of our program, and those kids are the foundation of our program. And so, there's so much. This morning I was looking for one of the kids. It's like 9:30 a.m. And I was like, hey, you around today? He's like, yeah, I'm downstairs watching film. And that's stuff like that's happening all the time. And it's not, it's now we're to the point where their academics are important. Their family's important, and football's important. And, you know, again, I keep talking about the things that were wrong or whatever, but I mean, that has not always been that way where football was important here. But this group, football is important to them. They love playing. They're committed to it, and that's why you look out there and they'll be out there when you guys leave. There's still going to be guys out there on that jugs machine.
Talk about your linebacker position and your rush ends and the progress that they're making and what you're kind of trying to get out of them during this spring portion of the proceedings.
Well, excited about the linebacker position. Just the experience and depth that we're returning. You know, Xavier's been a little limited this spring. He did practice most of the practice today. We haven't let him go in the team settings yet, but he did a lot today. And obviously, you know, talented player returning right there. But you know, Aaron Ramseur is a little bit the same way as Bruce. But you know, so those two guys, even without those two guys right now, have been very pleased with the performance of the linebackers. Bruce Bivens is having a fantastic spring. He's been limited the last couple of practices, but Miles Berry is playing, I think, the best ball he's played since I've gotten here. Jacoby Simpson, been really excited about the way he's come on. And then you have the young guys, Taylor Jackson, Eric Doctor, you know, the guys like that. So that room is really playing at a high level right now, and that's certainly good to see. The rush in position, we've talked a lot about Jeremy Lewis. He's out right now, just a little bit of a ding, you know, nothing serious. But he's had a really strong spring, and you know, I talked to him the other day. I said, "You've shown us that you're going to be a factor. You know, you're going to be a player for us." And then the other guys are just competing right there right now to see, you know, kind of where it's going to fall. You know, whether it's Chad Stevens or Dre Terry or whomever. I got several guys there competing at the rush in position for the number 2 spot.
I was looking at the roster earlier today. I think I counted 68 freshmen. You know,
Yeah.
you count guys like Jawan Powell and the redshirt freshmen who really have been here for 3 years almost.
Right.
You know, Elijah Morris and the running backs. I mean, what is that like? Every school is going to have a ton of freshmen because of the way it works. But
Right.
I mean, those are kind of building blocks and make up so much of your roster. What's it like to have them and to keep improving them?
Well, I mean, I think last year we were either the youngest or the second youngest team in FBS football. And so that's not always good, but the good part of it is we want to have them for a while. And, you know, it's like all those freshman D linemen, those 2 freshman running backs, you know, they're still young, but they're experienced now because we played them last year. So it's pretty exciting. I mean, it's exciting to think that you have those guys for several years to come because they're not going to get worse. They're only going to improve. And as they improve, the program will improve.
You talked about the rush position earlier. Coach Dowse, what have you noticed just from him coming in? And it seems to be a pretty intense coach.
Yeah.
And has he brought something new to that room?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely a fiery guy, very intense guy, very detailed and demanding guy. And so, you know, there's going to be a lot of discipline in that room. But great technician. Certainly with his experience at all the places he has been, some of the guys he's coached, and who he's coached with. He is really great with the fundamentals. He's great with scheme, brings a lot to the game plan stuff in the defensive room, and then been very pleased with his attention to detail and organization with the special teams so far.
Any thoughts on the AAC's announcement today in terms of the eligibility with transferring?
Not really. I mean, Aaron Jarman, you know, we had already had a waiver that had been approved, and he's been admitted to school and all that stuff. So, but certainly a situation like that, it would allow him to, you know, to be eligible immediately without having to do a waiver. But, you know, it's, you know, in today's world, I think you're going to see more and more of that stuff. And so, you know, it just goes back now to just, you know, making sure that you do a great job with your kids when you have them. And, you know, hopefully they feel like this is home. Okay, thanks a lot.